You may have heard of inflation, or the decline in the purchasing power of a currency over time, but there's another deadly force that acts as a stealth tax on consumers. And that is shrinkflation. But what is it? How does it affect you? And how can you spot it? Stay tuned to find out. This is Dirty Money. When companies are faced with higher costs to produce their products, maybe the price of raw materials has gone up, or maybe gas prices have gone up, which makes it more expensive to deliver their goods to market, they are faced with a choice. Either increase the price of their product, and when that happens broadly across the whole economy, it's called inflation, or they can keep the price the same, but decrease the size and crucially the weight of the product. This is why Fritos now have 5 less chips per bag, Sunmaid has 70 less raisins per can, and Charmin toilet paper now has 20 less sheets per roll. This is called shrinkflation, and it's happening everywhere.
Shrinkflation. Even when prices are not going up, consumers are getting less bang for their buck.
This bag of Doritos used to be 9 3/4 ounces, but in February 2021, it became half an ounce lighter.
Doritos, Sunmaid raisins, Chobani yogurt, as seen on this website, now give you less for the same amount of money. None of those brands responded to our request for comment.
And companies are really sneaky with it, from peanut butter manufacturers figuring out that they can put less in a jar that looks the same size but has a little indentation in the bottom, to Toblerone famously spacing out the chocolate on their bars in the UK market, and to Gatorade claiming that their change from a 32-ounce bottle to a 28-ounce bottle is for ergonomic reasons, i.e. a bottle that is easier to hold in your hand and also coincidentally has less Gatorade in it. Actually, companies have a term for this. It's called price pack architecture. It's a special term they invented so they don't have to use the word shrinkflation. But shrinkflation is what all consumers call it. The go-to guy on shrinkflation is Edgar Dworski, who runs the website consumerworld.org. And although shrinkflation has been going on for years, things are now getting a bit out of hand.
I've never seen it as bad as it is now. We're having product after product that are downsizing.
Dworski's website keeps track of products that are shrinking. Here is his page for spring 2022. Some of the comparisons are obvious, and some are not. Like this Life cereal box is actually taller to make it look bigger, but if you read the small print, there's over 2 ounces less cereal in it. So how are companies getting away with this? Well, research has shown that consumers don't often look at unit pricing or the price by weight. They just look at the overall price of the product. But as consumers get more savvy in these tough economic times, companies are getting sneakier too, hiding smaller sizes with new packaging.
Or if it's a limited edition of a certain flavor. That has been common with Oreos. They come out with limited edition Oreo flavors that are in a smaller package and actually cost more.
So what can you do to avoid shrinkflation? Well, first of all, don't be tricked by fancy new packaging and so-called limited edition flavors. But also, Dworski says that store brands are often the last to downsize, whereas big names shrink earlier. So if you want to avoid shrinkflation, you could consider buying store brand products. You can also look for coupons to offset the cost if you are buying the big name brands. But do remember that in times of high inflation like we're in now, with inflation running at 9.1% here in the US, the producers suffer too. Tillamook's CEO actually told the Washington Post they were downsizing ice cream containers so they had enough money to pay the farmers who own the company. Yeah, that's kind of a guilt trip. It's not all just evil capitalist monopoly men that run these companies, but innocent farmers. So in a way, shrinkflation could be a better alternative to inflation in times when the consumer price index is running high. You just need to be sure that companies revert back to the original size if prices go down. In the case of the UK Toblerone bar, the public did manage to force the company to revert.
Angry fans took to social media, and in 2018, the company discontinued that version of the chocolate bar.
But with inflation running the highest in 41 years, and probably higher if you use the earlier methods for working out inflation, it looks like companies today are faced with a choice: shrink their products or raise their price. Guys, if you want to know more about inflation and why the current inflation rate is probably a lie and the real rate is much higher, check out these 2 videos on my channel. And please subscribe if you're new. Leave your comments below. Have you found any products that have shrunk? I'd love to hear from you. We'll see you next week on Dirty Money.